There it goes. The app is TouchCast Studio. It's in self-service. If you have a classroom set, it is in there. And then if you're using it on a regular device, it's free in the App Store. And TouchCast Studio. Completely free. I do not know how, but it is completely free. And TouchCast, I believe, is all one word. Mm-hmm. And it looks like, I can show you real quick. The icon looks like this.
You always have to remember your password, Kay.
So I'm going to show you a quick video. I'm going to skip through parts of it and pause parts of it. And this is a school in California to where they're using it in the classroom, and they're using a teacher-guided model for it, and then also a student-led to where basically throws them out to the crowd and lets them do it. So play a couple of minutes of this. And all of this was shot. All the graphics, everything was done using the app. None of this was done using a camera or a studio or any of that. It's all of this is done within the app.
To see the amazing work he and his class have been doing, engaging in a meaningful, fun way with the topic of genetics.
The graphics put into it, all done through the app.
Future of education in that students are taking control of their own work and applying it to their own personal lives rather than a teacher just kind of lecturing up front or giving the students exactly what they need to do. The students are instead taking control of what they need to do, and the teacher's more of the facilitator on the side. And it's really nice having TouchCast supporting that vision for the future of education.
Mr. Jones initiated the genetics unit with 2 unusual classroom model touchcasts that engaged the students in exploring genetic traits with zombies. This wasn't your usual homework. These touchcasts serve to intrigue the students in ways that go beyond teaching rote, basic terminology. In the first, Mr. Jones showed off his acting chops portraying a zombie researching scientist. Utilizing the green screen capability of TouchCast, Mr. Jones and a student, playing the zombie, are transported across time and space into a lab while in the classroom.
So, green screen app, built into it, anything works. 97-cent green tablecloth from Walmart, tape it on the wall, you've got a green screen.
Illustrate the zombie's genetic traits.
Incorporated pictures you can write on the video within the app.
Look at the zombie's ears. What structure do you see? Click on the poll with your selection.
A live poll in the video that you can touch and vote or answer a question.
Learning by doing. They were instructed to interview their family regarding their inherited traits and present it in a touchcast, explaining the Punnett square genetic analysis of their family.
A trait is a distinguishing characteristic.
Pay attention to him.
I chose to predict where the eye
What is he
color,
doing?
color, and hair type. I'll be using a Punnett square to predict the offspring of my parents using their
Or teaching a lesson.
What is he looking at?
He's looking at the... Oh, he must be looking at the words on this thing.
Has a teleprompter built into it.
Kidding me.
And so you can actually have the student type the information in to the teleprompter. It's on the screen that they're talking to.
I like that better than reading a sheet with their head down like that.
I agree. And the other thing that it does is it makes it polished to where these guys get more confident in front of a screen than they would be otherwise. Because they're no uhs and all of the things that make things clunky and awkward for them. And then they don't want anybody to watch them because they're embarrassed of how they sounded. So this makes it to where they're polished, and you can present it to them. Newscasters do it constantly. I mean, even the pros that are on, at night, 5 o'clock news, national news, they're using teleprompters. Jimmy Fallon uses a teleprompter. All those guys use that because it makes it to where you're more polished in your delivery. So it's built in. The thing that I like is they write it, they read it, they say it, and then they can go back and watch it. So they're hitting a lot of different ways to learn that information by teaching themselves.
And so far, I mean, this just reminds me, and it kind of bugs me that we don't have this, but I know it comes in time. But at the elementary school I was at, back home by Dallas, they had their own like news and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You had to sit there and write it on like the whiteboards or pieces
Right.
of paper, and they're all holding it.
Holding it
you know,
up and
stuff.
next
Yeah.
cue card and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So the idea behind it is they've made a polished newscast, video casting type app
For free.
that anybody can use. So I'm going to keep it going. You can kind of,
Free right
now that you
now.
In
know,
the first Punnett Square,
incorporating their own
the
pictures
eyes.
into
Both
it.
of my parents have brown eyes, and brown eyes are a dominant trait, so the offspring will most likely have brown eyes.
I think TouchCast is really good for
She makes me a little dizzy.
educational purposes because it's like a way where usually you don't just stare at the whiteboard for like 5 hours and just absorb everything without actually processing it. But in TouchCast, yeah, you actually have to be active and participate in the things you're doing to make a TouchCast video, and that way you actually process the information you're getting.
For post-assessment of their learning, Brian provided the students with an assignment to create the Punnett Square analysis of 2 celebrities and predict the traits of their offspring.
The 2 celebrities I chose were Zoe Sugg and Alfie Days. Zoe and Alfie both have dark hair.
We are here to talk about dominant and recessive traits.
So again, green screen,
stars that we chose
incorporating
were
pictures in,
The first Punnett Square is about the nose.
bringing in their
Stun's
own
nose is a
graphics.
medium nose, so that means it's a lowercase and uppercase.
She's like, you're supposed to be pointing.
Uppercase L. This means that the nose of Demi Lovato and Ross Lynch put together will be a heterozygous nose.
I find it more interesting because like you don't.
So there's an example of 2 ways of using it. The other thing that can be done is you can have your slides, your documents, your worksheets, whatever it is in it, and you're talking about it. Then your kids that are gone on trips, that are in AEP, that are gone on band trips, athletics, whatever it is, or you know you're going to be gone. Here's a link for the sub, and here's your lecture and everything, click play. So all of that is available. You could put the link in Google Classroom, you could just give the link to the sub, and they just click
this-
play and it's on the projector.
So this could almost take away, because, you know, when I was out last semester, I did one of my lessons on, what was it, Screencastify or whatever. So this would actually give, I mean, so Screencastify only does it with the computer screen. This would
Correct.
take it away so that I could do other.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
love it.
So I'm going to show it to you now. I have this set up. I don't have an Apple TV on this TV. And so I actually have it set up to where this is plugged into my computer, and I'm using QuickTime that's in the deal, and it's plugged into that, so I can use.
So do we have to have a partner ID?
No, you just sign up with your email. You can just say skip. You can swipe through that to the end. You can swipe through a couple of those pages and say no, and just sign up with your email. All right, so here's the app. Oh, you're good. Here, this is the way it looks when it opens. It goes directly to things you want to do. So I'm going to start at the very first. Here's Scratch. There's no template to it. It is just, I'm going to record a video, and I'm going to control everything that goes into it. You have a web page, video, images, a map. So you can actually say, you know, if it was a deal with social studies, you're describing a place where something happened, you can actually have that built into it. A file, pictures, there's a news studio, so it looks like CNN.
That's cool.
You have a talk show, so if you have like an Oprah type deal that you want to do to where you have a guest on and you're interviewing them, you automatically have the set for all of that. You want to give a motivational speech at the Lincoln Memorial. It actually is all built in to where it looks like you're there.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's one that's kind of your own cartoon type deal. Newscast, a business cast, a sports cast. And one of my favorite things is Here's How, a how-to video. I love how-to videos.
That's you.
Yep, it's a live video.
Oh,
It's actually on right now. So you can kind of have an idea of what it, and then there's a review. So if you were going to review an item, a product, something like that. So again, you could have a kid say, I want you to review this. Pick 5 things you want to review. You can go back and review it all. So I'm going to pick the newscast. So it automatically asks me, what do I want the title to be in a search term? So I'm going to put the latest on LCMS, and I'm just going to put the search term as LCMS. I click done, and it automatically puts it in the graphics. And this is what our side looks like. When it's done, you're not going to see any of these things on the bottom. You're just going to see what's here. So I'm going to start over here by touching camera. There's the teleprompt.
oh my gosh.
I have
That's so cool.
I have speed here. I have back all the way back to the first. I have play. I have go back 5 lines, and I have edit. So I hit play, and the text starts scrolling. Again, I can make it faster. I can slow it down. I can pause it. I can go all the way back to the first. Very, very simple, quick, easy way to do things.
Okay, question.
Okay?
If it's recording you from that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it's going too fast and you want to slow it down,
Mm-hmm.
the person being recorded has to be the one.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple of different ways, though, that you can do it. You can hold it out like this, and you're reading and reading and reading, or you can swap sides. So now it's facing out.
Okay.
You could actually have that teleprompter on there still and have it mirrored to like an Apple TV or something like that. So I would end up, say I'm videoing you, I would have you on that, and you would be reading off of the screen like what we're doing right
That's
here.
probably what they did on that example.
I would guess that they had it on either something like this, because I could have it like this, and you would be reading this, but the people don't know. So you could absolutely mirror it off of Apple TV. You could have it plugged in, however you want to do it.
Okay.
Or if it's a deal to where you want to put it to where they're holding it, swap the camera, holding it, and they're reading like this. But yeah, I mean, the deal is most of the stuff is in, I can control most of it from right here.
Okay, I just didn't see the swap.
Yep,
but-
totally. You can turn on and off the mic. You can turn on and off the camera. You can add guidelines. I'm going to turn off the teleprompter there. So you know that you're holding it straight. That always helps. Color temp. So in here with the fluorescent tube lighting, it would make it kind of a yellow cast. You can actually select it to where it will compensate for those different lighting conditions.
Wow. That's nice.
And it's free still.
No kidding. God. It's free for a limited time is what I'm seeing.
They charge off of cloud storage. If you wanted to store these in a cloud, in their cloud,
There's the kicker.
they would charge you. But you can upload these into
Yeah.
Google Drive or
Yeah.
throw them on YouTube or whatever you want to.
There's their kicker. Okay.
So I'm going to go to effects now. Here's the green screen part. I can tap green screen. Then this is a color dabber. I would pick the color of green that's behind me, and it'll automatically filter it out. Here's the settings on it. I can move this around. That's what the background behind me would look like if I was in front of a green screen. So you can adjust all these things. You can kind of see it starts incorporating it. So that's how that works. Pretty slick from that it's built in, and it's actually that easy. Here's the whiteboard tool. So I tapped whiteboard. Right now it's set on glass. So when I write on it, it's clear, but I'm writing on top of the image. If I change it, I have whiteboard. So I have a true whiteboard. I have a chalkboard, make it a little bit more snazzy. And then I actually have cross lines. Over here, I have clear board. So if I'm working on something, I'm done with that, I hit that, and we go back and it's cleared out.
It's almost like sportscasting, where you're going, here goes the whatever.
Yep. Exactly.
For my research project. And they have to report it.
Yes, absolutely. Right. I mean, and it's cool because you can make it to where, okay, here's my group's iPad. You're in charge in teleprompt and writing the script for it. You're in charge of the video and editing. You're going to be in front of the camera, so you're going to have to practice reading what she wrote. You can pull it into groups, or you can do it individual. It's actually simple enough to where you could really pull it individual. The examples they gave obviously were in groups. But, I mean, the versatility of this is just what I like about it the most. You can do just about anything as far as different templates, incorporating different deals. You know, you could have a background in the back to where you're sitting in France and you're talking about France. You have a background from the green screen that you're in a war and you're interviewing a soldier. And they're telling you what's happening, where they are in the war. I mean, there's just so many variables of what you can do. You could actually, and I thought of this for your class when you're teaching parts of the computer and the history of all that stuff. You could actually be in the computer and you're sitting there pointing, talking about what this piece does. Right? I mean, how fun is that? Because these kids are doing this at home anyway. They're playing with videos and editing stuff all the time. So why not make it to where they're using it for this and then they forget that they're learning and off they go. I like fooling the kids a lot by doing that. So again, you have marker, text tool, eraser, arrow, so you can label things, undo, clearboard. The next tab is titles. So we can edit this, what this says. You can actually have it time out to where you have text going across the screen and it would time out over like 10 seconds and it would fade out. I mean, it's got a lot of powerful tools for what it is. Then what they hang their hat on is V-apps, and they call them video apps. These are all the things you can add into the video. So a full web page, if you're watching it on the app, on an iPad, it's going to be interactive. If you upload it to YouTube, it is no longer interactive. So you won't be able to touch screen and do the polls and stuff like that. But if you're watching it in this is a web page. You can scroll on it. It's live within the video. Then you have a hotspot. It's basically where you can touch it and it would go to something else, kind of a link. You can add photos. You can have a Google Map full screen. You can add video. You can have a TouchCast inside a TouchCast. So like at the end of a YouTube video, when it says, if you want more information about XYZ, or you want to watch my other videos, like when Jimmy Fallon's sitting there pointing at his other stuff, you can do that and touch that and it will go to another TouchCast. So if I'm talking about tables, I can say, if you want to learn about chairs, touch this. They touch that and it would go to the TouchCast that I've made about chairs. This is a document picker that is actually on the device. So if you have something saved on the device, you can pick it. Box is a cloud storage as well as Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. So you can actually pull files and things you already have on Google Drive. You can upload those directly into the app. You have Instagram if it wasn't blocked. You have YouTube where you can pull in YouTube videos. You can ask a question. You can have the Google Map to where, again, it's just the little newscast Google Map as opposed to an entire background. Google News, Flickr for pictures.
Oh my gosh.
You have polls to where there's your live poll. If Facebook wasn't blocked, you could add Facebook. Here's your ticker. You can have your ESPN ticker scrolling across the bottom of the page. You can rate it 1 to 5 stars. Stock market quotes. You can pull a quote. You can have a list. For some reason, Amazon, I think that's the deal where you can go back and review products. I think that's the same thing for eBay. You have a social handler, so you can say, I want to tweet this. Movie reviews, a calendar. You can pull up a calendar within it. Day in history, a GIF, and then you can have a live, actual Twitter feed that's live as it's going.
And those are the free things.
This is all free.
That doesn't have to do with the paid whatever.
Nope. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm not going to save it. So we're back to the regular app. This is why I say that you can turn around and hand this to kids. You have tutorials that you can tap here, and it automatically goes into TouchCast tutorials. There, as of earlier today, there were 47 tutorials between 1 and 4 minutes long. So they're really quick to the point. I want to learn how to use green screen. Here you go. Here's 45 seconds on how to learn how to do that. I want to include in video. Here's how I do that. So it's got all of those things built in. I'm going to show you here. Then here's all the rest of these things. Here's videos that people have already made. So there's already a full library of TouchCasts that are active that you can use in your classroom as well. So people have already built resources that you can use. And then there's channels. Here's the tutorials, 47 TouchCast. I tap that. These are all going to load. Turning VApps into a web page, making your first TouchCast tutorial, teleprompter, green screen, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it goes through. This one's 34 seconds. This one's 1:34. So, again, hand this to a kid. Say, I want you to make a TouchCast about this. You don't have to spend a day going through everything and say, okay, you know how to use this app now. Next time you come in, grab an iPad and get started. It's really, they show up that day and it's grab an iPad and get started. There's really no prep for it. So that's how it works. If you want help with it, to incorporate it, you want ideas on how to use it, on what you're working on, let me know. Obviously, I'll help you out and we'll figure out some way to do it. I mean, the people, what everybody has said, I mean, it's crazy. People are coming up with ideas like, I want to use it this way, I want to use it that way. I mean, describing things. I love the how-to videos. I love going back and being able to provide the research, interviewing somebody back in history, interviewing somebody that's an expert in the field to where they're sitting there teaching the class what they know. Love that. So, and then obviously the fact that you can record your videos to share with students.
Now the kid had a microphone, so.
Kid had a microphone. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Okay.
Because most of them are going to be holding it fairly close on those things. There is a rumor that one of these walls might be painted green in here. And so that door could close and you'd have a green screen. But, I mean, people are doing it in the hallways and everywhere else.
As long as we have something green up.
Something green. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, all the construction paper, all the sheets of paper, all the green's gone. Because everybody, and so there's spots all over the halls. But like I said, I did this at Laura Bush a couple of weeks ago, and you walk down the halls, and it's just the cheapo tablecloths. I mean, they're just hanging down the halls, and there's just kids sitting in chairs acting like they're at a news desk doing the deal. So, and then Micah Painter actually went from using iMovie to do their Friday announcements and Friday newscast deal. They're actually using TouchCast now instead of iMovie.
iMovie's kind of hard.
iMovie's a weird animal. Yeah. You have to use it
to really know it.
To really get it.
Yeah.
With this, I think it is really kind of a deal. You just pick it up and run with it.
Yeah.
And then also with using the TouchCast, what she's had her kids do is if they're at a basketball game, they're at a track meet, whatever, they'll take out their phones and video some of it, and then they can turn around and incorporate it. So they have reporters on the scene and stuff like that. Turned out pretty cool. So that's what I have today. Again, I have my blog set up now. It's under mholley, mholley.lcisd.net. And all the stuff that I find, I'll find stuff and put on there. I also have a Twitter account that's linked off of this too. So if you click there, it takes you to my Twitter account. And there's a lot more stuff that I post there. But the big stuff, like things like this, will be listed here, and it will have links. So for instance, the iPad Pro one that I did, it actually has the video for that, and then it has the links to the products that I used, and it has links to the apps that I used. So you don't have to remember all that stuff. You can go back and review that. And then this will be on there, but over spring break, I'll have this video uploaded.